see the player you mean, Francis. Yes, take care. It has reached a higher level now. I can read your thoughts. That doesn't matter. It thinks we are part of the game. I like this player. It played well. It did not give up. It was reading our thoughts as they thought they were words on the screen. That is how it chooses to imagine many things when it is deep in the dream of a game. Words make a wonderful interface, very flexible and less terrifying than staring at the reality behind the screen. They used to hear voices before players could read, back in the days when those who did not play called the players witches and warlocks, and players dreamed they flew through the air in sticks powered by demons. What did this player dream? This player dreamed of sunlight and trees, of fire and water. It dreamed it created, and it dreamed and it destroyed, and it dreamed it hunted and was hunted, and it dreamed of shelter. Ha! The original interface, 1,000,000 years old, and it still works. But what true structure did this player create in the reality behind the screen? It worked with 1,000,000 others to sculpt the true world in a fold of the created by the, for the, in the. It cannot read that thought. No, it has not yet achieved the highest level. That it must, in the long dream of life, not the short dream of a game. Does it know that we love it? That the universe is kind? Sometimes, through the noise of its thought, it hears the universe, yes. But there are times it is sad in the long dream. It creates worlds that have no summer, and it shivers under a black sun, and it takes a sad creation for reality. The cure, its sorrow, would destroy it. The sorrow is part of its own private task. We cannot interfere. Sometimes, when they are in deep dreams, I want to tell them they are building true worlds in reality. Sometimes I want to tell them their importance to the universe. Sometimes, when they have not made the true connection in a while, I want to help them speak to the world they fear. It reads our thoughts. Sometimes I do not care. Sometimes I wish to tell them this world you take for the truth is merely blah blah blah. I wish to tell them that they are you that they see little reality in the long dream, and yet they play the game. But it would be so easy to tell them. Too strong for this dream to tell them how to live is to prevent them living. I will not tell the player how to live. The player is growing restless. I will tell the player a story, but not the truth. No, a story that contains the truth safely, in a cage of words, not the naked truth that can burn over any distance. Give it a body again. Yes, player. Use its name. Francis, player of games. Good. Take a breath. Now take another. Feel the air in your lungs. Let the limbs return. Yes, move your fingers. Have a body again, under gravity and air. Respawn in the long dream. There you are, your body touching the universe again at every point, as though you were separate things, as though you were separate things. Who are we? Once we were called the spirit of the mountain, father, sun, mother, moon, ancestral spirits, animal spirits, jinns, ghosts, the green man, the gods, demons, angels, poltergeists, aliens, extraterrestrials, lepers, quarks. The words change, but we are the same. We are the universe. We are everything you think isn't you, and looking at us now through the skin and eyes, and the way the universe touches your skin and the light you see, your player you know. To be no, I shall tell you a story. Once upon a time there was a player. A player was you, Francis. Sometimes it thought itself human on the crust of the spinning globe on the molten rock. The ball of the molten rock circled a ball of blazing gas, and there was 330,000 times more massive than it. They were so far apart that the light took 8 minutes to cross the gap. It was information from a star that could burn the skin from the 150 million kilometers away. Sometimes the player dreamed it was a miner in the surface of the world that was flat and infinite, and the sun was a square and the white, and the days were short. There was much to do, and death was temporary inconvenience. Sometimes the player dreamed it was lost in the story. Sometimes the player dreamed it was other things in other places. Sometimes the dreams were disturbing. Sometimes they were beautiful indeed. Sometimes the player woke from the dream into another, and woke from it into a third. Sometimes the player dreamed it watched words on a screen. Let's go back. The atoms of the player were scattered in the grass, in the rivers, in the air, in the ground. A woman gathered the atoms. She drank it and ate it, inhaled it. The woman assembled the player in her body. And the player awoke from the warm, dark world of the mother's body into the long dream. And the player was a new story, never told before, written in the letters of DNA. And the player was a new program, never run before, generated by a source code 1 billion years old. And the player was a new human, never alive before, made from nothing but milk and love. You are the player, the story, the program, the human made from nothing but milk and love. Let's go further back. The 7 billion atoms, the player's body, were created long before this game in the heart of a star. So the player too is information from a star, and the player moves through the story, which is the forest of information planted by a man called Julian on a flat infinite world created by a man called Marcus, that existed inside a small private world created by a player who inhabits a universe created by Sometimes the player created a small private world that was soft and warm and simple, sometimes hard and cold and complicated. Sometimes it built a model of the universe in its head, flecks of energy moving through vast empty space, sometimes called those flecks electrons and protons. Sometimes it called the planets and stars. Sometimes it believed it was a universe that was made of energy, that was made of offs and ons, zeros and ones, lines and code. Sometimes it believes it was a game. Sometimes it believed it was reading words on a screen. You are the player reading the words. Shh. Sometimes the player reading lines in the code on the screen decoded them into words, decoded them into meaning, decoded meaning into feelings, emotions, theories, ideas. The player started to breathe faster and deeper and realized it was alive. It was alive. The thousands of deaths had not been real. The player was alive. You are alive. And sometimes the player believed the universe had spoken to it through the sunlight that came through the shuffling leaves of the summer trees. And sometimes the player believed that the universe had spoken to it through the light that fell in the crisp night sky of winter, where the fleck of light in the corner of the player's eye may be a star a million times as massive as the sun, boiling its planets to plasma in order to be visible for a moment to the player, waking home from the far side of the universe, suddenly smelling food, almost the familiar door, about to dream again. And sometimes the player believed the universe had spoken through the zeros and the ones and the electricity in the world, through the scrolling worlds and the screen at the end of the dream, and the universe said, I love you. And the universe said, you are played the game well, and the universe said everything you need is within you, and the universe said you are stronger than you know, and the universe said you are the daylight, and the universe said you are the night, and the universe said that the darkness you fight is within you, and the universe said the light you seek is within you, and the universe said that you are not alone, and the universe said that you are not separate from every other thing. And the universe said that you are the universe, tasting itself, talking to itself, reading its own code. And the universe said, I love you because you are love. And the game was over, and the player woke up from the dream, and the player began a new dream, and the player dreamed again, dreamed better, and the player was the universe, and the player was love. You are the player.